Hey everybody, welcome to Miscast Commentary, a coming attractions episode. I am Joe Finley. Todd Tebow the Sailor Murray not here today. He is en route back to town from his job at sea, so he wasn't able to make it for this one. A little bit of things, a few things to talk about anyways. Before we announce the movie, we're going to make this a short episode. First things first, if you've not seen it already, I will plug. I did an episode of Dueling Decades on Wednesday with Brendan B. Brown from Wheatus, and he was fantastic, and I highly recommend you go check that out. Now, if you want to watch the full uncut thing, go to the Dueling Decades YouTube right now, and not right now, but when you're done with this, and you can go check that out. Otherwise, you can go and check out the podcast when it comes out next Wednesday, and it also starts being released in individual rounds throughout the week next week. So you can check it out in any way, shape, or form that you'd like, but it was a really worthwhile time, and I think you'll have a lot of fun listening to that one. So go check it out. What other fun things are going on right now? I'm going to save the rest of the plugs for later. Let's talk news right now. A lot of casting stuff going on. Aaron Taylor Johnson was just cast as Craven the Hunter for his own movie. Not sure how to feel about that, only because I don't see him as a guy who carries his own movie very well. He was like the lead male in Godzilla, but Godzilla's the lead. Stuff like that. So I don't know. We'll see how that goes. I'll keep an open mind. We'll see what happens. I think a lot of people were looking forward to potentially John Wick, Jesus, Keanu Reeves taking on a role like that. But I reserve judgment. We'll see how it goes. It is a Sony spin-off kind of series. Weird that the villains are all getting their own thing, unless, of course, they are planning to do some kind of Sinister Six, come together at the end, which would be interesting if they could get Spider-Man for that. That would be maybe an interesting one to do a Miles Morales with. I don't really know what their plans are, because they don't tell me any of this stuff, but interesting nonetheless. What else do we got going on in the news? I'm just going to scroll through it. So they finally confirmed Oscar Isaac to be starring in Moon Knight, which everybody already knew, so I don't really understand what the point of that was. It was the worst kept secret. They showed training footage for him, so that's neither here nor there, I guess. I guess the biggest piece of news of the week would be Amazon buying MGM. It's a lot of money. They spent $8.45 billion to buy MGM. Nobody was offering anywhere near that. I think it was Apple, Comcast, a couple other places. They were offering upwards of about 40% less than that. So Amazon, bet big on that franchise. Well, not the franchise, but the studio itself. And then, of course, James Bond being one of their kind of key franchises. We'll have to see what they do with that. I'm really hoping that this means that they're not going to continue to charge the extra charge for the MGM movies on Amazon Prime, just because I really like that service and I don't want to have to pay an extra $3.99 for it. I have so many of these services and I'm not going to pay the extras. Okay? Don't make me. Seems fair anyways. All right, what else we got? Denai Guerrera is going to be reprising her role as Okoye in a Black Panther spin-off Disney Plus series. I think that kind of officially got greenlit after the coolness in Falcon and Winter Soldier. So I'll be interested to see. I like those, those are some hot ladies who are badass, and I'd love to see what kind of, crazy things they get up to when the superheroes aren't around. The Friends reunion. I haven't watched it yet, but, we heard about the Matthew Perry slurring his speech. The defense from his people are that he had emergency dental surgery. Maybe that's possible. He's been on Cameo and some other things, and he wasn't slurring, although somebody said that their cameo in December was slurred. I don't know. I don't think it really matters at this point. Just, like it or don't like it, go check it out. Um, Other things worth talking about. Oh, Todd sent a message along, though. I'm going to read it to you just because I don't want to misquote him. He reviewed Army of the Dead for me. I haven't had the opportunity to watch it yet. I'm going to watch it this weekend. But here is exactly what he said because he was not thrilled. Okay. Army of the Dead is a piece of trash. It's so dumb that it's insulting. Like halfway through the movie, he forgot everything he just did. Like he wrote the script once, never glanced at it again. How in God's name are people still giving him money? I don't know. It tracks. I'm kind of bummed. I was really hoping that this was going to be good. I know we say a lot of things kind of against Snyder and all that, but it's based on results. And, he did Dawn of the Dead, which I loved. So I was really hoping that he was kind of diving back into that, but he made this big weird thing. And it's just, I'm basing this on Todd's review of the movie, not my own, since I haven't seen it yet. I'm still hoping it's going to be good. I'm hoping that maybe he's even set a low enough bar with this review that I'll enjoy it more. I actually had a very similar experience to Wonder Woman 1984 when I watched it. People had so many bad things to say about it that by the time I got around to watching it, I was like, that wasn't so bad. And really, when you're watching a DC movie, isn't that the goal? Wasn't so bad. A lot of interesting talks online too. They were talking about just flat out people not really seeming to care online about this movie when, the whole Snyder Cut thing was such a big deal. You think that the discourse over this movie would be equally large, as it were, but I never really thought that was going to be the case because this is not a superhero movie. It's just some kind of not a throwaway horror movie, but it's a horror movie that, it doesn't have the same kind of a fandom that, the Marvel universe or the DC universe or anything like that has. So, it is what it is. I'm hoping I enjoy it. It's, I love Dave Bautista. I really love Tig Notaro, which I just found out, if you didn't know this, she's actually CG'd, or not CG'd, but kind of like green screened into the entire movie. She replaced Chris D'Elia, who had already shot the movie in that role, but for all his, grooming the youngsters, blah, 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 allegedly. Don't want to get sued. But, so that happened. So they removed him from the movie and just literally threw Tig Notaro in front of a green screen, and she did her entire thing. Her general indifference towards people, as the kind of character that is Tig Notaro, would speaks to that, though. So I guess nobody's really gonna notice when she, if she feels a little distant, as it were. So yeah, it's interesting though to see that not a lot of people were talking about it in comparison to the DC stuff. And then I saw somebody had made a point, I guess, in the first hour after the Justice League was released on HBO Max, over 100,000 reviews on Rotten Tomatoes appeared, which is kind of weird, seeing as the movie's 4 hours long. You can't review a movie properly until you've seen it. But again, that kind of stands for everything that we've said the whole time. It is a very small group of people. Like, I'm not saying that nobody liked this movie. There are things to like about the movie. It's not a lot for me, but the whole problem was that so many people, there's a very specific group of people went all in on it, and they flooded the market. They make it sound like there's millions of people out there clamoring for the Snyder Cut and then restore the Snyderverse. It's not as big a group of people as you would think. You can tell it's very much like if you were to tweet anything political or in any sort of discourse, like Ted Cruz sends a tweet and then you respond to that tweet going, "Oh, you're a jerk who eats flies," whatever. And then all of a sudden you get a bunch of, like egg profiles with the name, like, U.S. flag 02415644445, like, and then they're like, no way, America's the greatest and Ted Cruz is the best. It feels a lot like that. You'd really have to prove otherwise. I'd have to see a million-man DC march or something like that, and I don't think that'll ever happen. Not just because nerds don't typically walk or go outside very much. I'm evidence of that. But I just don't think that the numbers are there. Sorry. What else do we got for you today? There was not a lot of news, but there was just some kind of interesting news. Like theaters kind of back going. I noticed today because A Quiet Place 2 came out in theaters. John Krasinski has been riding on Twitter and like basically just tweeting to every single person who even was considering going to see A Quiet Place 2, going, go see it, go see it. I love the grassroots style. Like he makes it feel like he's running such a low budget thing when he's friggin' John Krasinski, and God willing, the next Mr. Fantastic. I don't know. They're not letting me on the casting. What else? Oh, Samuel Wright, who voiced Sebastian in The Little Mermaid, died. That was sad. I don't have much more to say about it because I don't know him from anything else other than that. Evil Dead Rise is getting ready to come out on HBO Max. I haven't heard a ton about this. It's an Irish filmmaker making the film. I'll give it a shot. I didn't really care for the first remake, and again, I don't care for remakes in general, but we'll see how it goes. Has everybody been seeing the shorts that we've been putting on the YouTube page? And we've got a TikTok now as well, worth mentioning. So if you go on our YouTube page, if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll find all our shorts, which we're doing miscast mini trivia. So it's just a little bit of trivia that you kind of hear from the episodes. But also we're going back and we're doing ones from the episodes, like from the early episodes. So we've got the first few of those out. I think the first 4 episodes worth of trivia. So that's, I was going to say Above the Law, but it's not. Marked for Death, The Wizard, Labyrinth, and maybe that's it for now. Oh, no, and Nightmare on Elm Street 3. So Revenge of the Nerds will be the next Thursday one to come out. So you can check those out. They're just a minute long little fun things. We also post them on TikTok. Our TikTok is Miscast Commentary. So you can find us on there and like our stuff. And I'm also now on TikTok as Miscast Joe. So that's just another thing. Just we're going and we're going. I know the graphics above me here aren't showing the TikToks yet because I haven't updated those. But we'll get to that. We'll get there. You're just going to have to be patient. I'm a busy, busy man. It doesn't seem like I'm busy, like if you're looking at me or like watching me day to day, but there's a lot going on. There's tons going on up here. What else? Loki's coming out so soon. I'm trying so hard not to watch too much because like every time I see an article, it's clickbaity and it's like, did this person just give a spoiler to who the main bad guy for Phase 4 is going to be through Loki and blah, blah, blah. I can't have it ruined. It's bad enough that I was just randomly Googling one thing today and The Masked Singer got ruined for me. I didn't even care that much, but and I got it right too. I knew who it was. But let's actually get into that. Stop spoiling things, random internet. It's bad enough that like jerks online will go on Twitter and just tweet out, hey, this person won Survivor, or this happened in Star Wars, or this happened here. Like, there has to be a small grace period. I think it's been worse. I've never seen it worse for anything than The Masked Singer, though. Like, that night, if you go on certain news sites, certain entertainment sites, at the very least, you'll find out who was eliminated. It's like the show's over and you click on a thing, and that actually legit happened. I noticed last night. I was scrolling through something, and then they were like, oh, then this person is, and now thankfully, because there were 3 people, I didn't know who had won, who had been eliminated, or anything like that. I know I shouldn't even be as into The Masked Singer as I am. Well, I'm not. It's just a show I watch, and I was interested to find out without having it spoiled for me. Fair. Um, but yeah, that time it didn't get spoiled for me, but then literally they revealed the name of, or they revealed the identity of one person, and I was like, oh, okay, what do I know this person from? And I started scrolling through, and then it showed me who the winner was. I'm like, come on, guys, like you have to be able to give it more than 24 hours. I think the following, what, 3 days at the very least. Like, you can have we're talking about this episode, in here are spoilers kind of headline, but don't say, hey, like in the headline and in the photo, this person was eliminated and it was this person. It's a simple enough request, internet. Now that this is going to be on YouTube and on, all the podcasting places in the world, I hope that this information gets out there and gets out to Johnny Google and Chad Facebook and JanineMonster.com, who's, just stop the spread of too much information. Instead of misinformation for a change, just too much information. So we got that going. All right. Lord Miller produced. Nah, I don't care about any of that. We don't need to talk about any of that stuff. Let's see what these guys. What are these celebrities up to? Chris Noth is coming back to the Sex and the City thing. I could go on forever about what an awful idea that show is going to be. Like, Sex and the City was its own thing, and it had its value, and it was, whatever. Then the first movie came out, and you're like, okay, they're honoring this popular thing, and I can understand that. Then they come out, and we're going to do another movie, and it's the worst piece of garbage you could possibly imagine. So why are we continuing to reward this? Also, not to be ageist or anything like that, but we've already had the Golden Girls. I don't need to see a bunch of old women complain at me for, too long a period of time. Unless they're going to turn Chris Noth's character into Matthew Broderick's Experience, and he, like, runs over a person in France. Was it France? I don't know. Guys, it's late. I'll tell you a little story. Last night I'm recording this on the Thursday. Like, I'm going to release this almost immediately after I'm done shooting it. And last night we recorded that Dueling Decades. I had woken up at 4 o'clock in the morning for work, worked all day, came home, jumped right on the computer, produced and performed on Dueling Decades. Well, by performed, I mean like I was a contestant. But, you gotta be funny. You gotta have your research done. You gotta do all that stuff. So I did all that, and I was doing that until about 12:35. Then I had to somehow figure out how to get my daughter out of my bed because she saw a spider in her room that she said was the size of her hand, but probably more accurately was the size of, like, my pinky finger. Well, pinky nail, as it were. So yeah, and then I was up at 4 o'clock this morning again. I was supposed to record with Todd today. He was supposed to be in town. We were going to do this, and then we were going to do at least one movie, so that would have kept me up until about 1 o'clock again. And I'm getting my vaccine tomorrow, so I wonder how that would have went. I do hope that more and more of you out there, I will make my pitch. More and more of you are getting vaccinated right now, and that everybody's being safe and doing the right thing, making just smart decisions for yourself, your friends, your family. Okay. Reading today about how California is offering some gigantic lottery to get more people to get vaccinated, and it's great that they're doing something to get people out there and all that, but also it just really shows like how many people are just not getting the vaccine out of something other than like an anti-vax belief, because if you are truly anti-vax, the opportunity to win $15 million isn't enough for you to get the vaccine. You believe that it's harming human beings. Or you're just, stay with me here. You're just full of shit. But so the idea of the people who are actually getting the vaccine, though, are people who just were too lazy to get it, or maybe too scared to get a needle, or whatever it is. I'm glad that more and more people are going to get out. I think it's important. We got to get to that, that herd immunity. So my wife got her first dose today. I'm getting mine tomorrow. Todd's actually getting his on Saturday. He confirmed with me today. So we are closer and closer to being able to be back in the same friggin' room again with you guys. I'm not with you guys. You're not invited till I see some friggin' vax cards. But, yeah, I don't know, it's a simple thing. If you want me to debunk some vaccine things, if you think it's rushed, it wasn't. They've been dealing with it. They've been working on a coronavirus vaccine since SARS. So they're just doing basically exactly what they do with the flu shot, is they, make adjustments based on a strain. In this case, the COVID-19 strain. So the same thing will happen with variants. We may end up in this kind of endemic thing like the flu, where you might need, a booster from time to time. So be it. Honestly, I just want to take my kids to Disney. I want Florida to not be a cesspool of, coronavirus bodies floating around in a lazy river with an alligator chomping on them and whatever other Florida meth, I guess, on top of them. A lot of love to my actual Florida listeners, though. I actually love you guys. I'm just being dumb and stereotypical right now. Florida's one of my favorite places to go and spend time, so. Not in June, though. Not in June. That's where I had my honeymoon, was at Disney. And I don't know if I've told the story on here or not, but we got matching Mickey and Minnie, like bride and groom things. So mine was a top hat with the Mickey ears, and Carrie's was a veil with the Minnie ears. And the top hat was essentially just all plastic with like a little vinyl thing. And I was wearing it, and I was just like, man, I'm so hot. Like, I was just feeling like the heat just trapped in my head, just kind of like swirling around. And I was like, okay, I need to take this off for a minute, let my head breathe. And I took it off, and as I lifted it, water poured out like a cartoon. And it was just like, and my beautiful wife, on the first full day of our marriage, of our honeymoon, not our second whole day of our marriage, but first whole day of our honeymoon, looked at me and said, ew. So that's how that got started. But we still had a fun time nonetheless. There's plenty of air conditioning there. What else? Is there anything else in the news? I don't even think so. Nah, when you get into the celebrity section of like entertainment news, it's instantly just all gossip, and I'm no longer interested. But what we will do now is we should talk about what we're doing next week. I am super excited about it. Are you excited? You goddamn well better be. We are staying on the bad horror movie train for one more week. We got some more fun kind of 80s adventure-y stuff coming in the near future, but we had to, again, because we're doing all this remote, we had to find things that were a little bit shorter, a little bit more palatable and presentable between me and Todd remotely. So that's why we've been doing these short ones. But I give you one of the best worst horror movies and one of the worst horror bad guys of all time. I give you The Ginger Dead Man, starring Gary Busey. And this is not pre-motorcycle accident Gary Busey. This is post-motorcycle accident. I've been on Entourage as a crazy person. Gary Busey. Let us have a look at the trailer.
In a quiet bakery, one woman is about to confront her past.
We've got to fight back.
An unforgivable act of violence.
It also says here that after they fried him in the chair, they cremated him and sent his ashes to his mother in Coonsboro.
Something else was just left at the back porch, too.
Must be that gingerbread season.
Ah! Heck!
An unholy curse.
What is that fucker anyway?
I think I know what. I mean, who it is.
It's me you're after! Why'd you come and get me?
A new kind of cookie.
The hell is that?
Well, it sure ain't the Pillsbury fucking Doughboy.
Who are you? Ah!
You whore!
Run as fast as you can. Something's in the oven. The Ginger Dead Man. Evil never tasted so good.
Eat me, you punk bitch!
Come on. That is, I didn't really pay enough attention to the trailer before, but it's a lot of not seeing anything, isn't it, when you're just listening? But no dialogue for the most part. But that is indeed Gary Busey saying, "Eat me, you punk bitch," as well as many other fun things. But I think that's it. So that's coming next week. We're looking forward to that. It's already recorded and ready to rock. I do apologize to people who were expecting last week John Wick, and I need to explain. I don't need to, but I choose to because I respect you guys. I went to go edit that episode, and I've been working everything off of these video files and then exporting them as audio files to do all that. But when I went to open the file, it just wouldn't open. The file was corrupted. So John Wick was lost. The only thing that was left was the one short that I released for it where Todd decided he had to go pee, which you can see that on our YouTube page as well as on TikTok. Yeah, it's really unfortunate because it was a fun episode. We had a lot of different topics to talk about, but now the problem is we want that episode to come out, so we want to re-record it, but we don't want to make it feel forced, right? Where it's like, oh, well, we talked about this and we talked about this. So we're going to let a little bit of time pass on that one, and we'll get back to that for sure, though. I assure you, you'll hear John Wick from us sooner than later. But in the meantime, that is it for now. Next week, you're going to get some Ginger Dead Man, and you're going to love it. I swear to God. If you haven't seen it, hunt it down, watch it along with us. It's going to be a blast. All the usual socials. You can find us at podcast, or you can find us at miscastcommentary.com. Email us podcast@miscastcommentary.com. Find us on Twitter at miscastpodcast. I'm at miscastjoe. Todd's at miscasttodd. I know you're all seeing it up there too at the exact same time, but you know, this is a thing. This is routine that I'm used to that I'll explode if I don't get it right. Now follow us on Instagram at miscastjoe, at miscastcommentary, and on TikTok at miscastcommentary and at miscastjoe again. We would love to see you guys out there supporting our stuff. We thank everybody who's been watching the shorts and people who've been coming along lately. We've had a few nice messages from some new subscribers, and we really appreciate that, and we hope you enjoy things moving forward. So until then, and always, like, reach out to us. We love to talk to you guys, not just in the comments on YouTube, although we do ask very much, and I'm going to ask right now, if you enjoyed this video, hit the like button down there. If you're listening to this in podcast form, you can't do that, but you can certainly subscribe. You can certainly review. You can certainly share with a friend, any of those things. Those things help us, be seen by other people. So the idea is, if you want us to be seen, if you think we deserve to be seen by other people, that's all you need to do. It's free. I don't know what else to tell you. I know I'm gonna like it. Ding. But for now, guys, I bid you a very fond adieu. And I can't wait to be back with you next week with Ginger Dead Man. Get ready. It's a lot of fun. And we'll see you next week.